is saying is there is no contradiction at all, because we have got funds that are set up under PFM, Public Finance Management Act. All the levies, you say you have got a substantive law on that particular, or by that particular levy, the housing fund, the SHIV, all the other things, and they made the Revenue Development Fund. They have been there from time immemorial. Not all why we create those levies is that we can be able to ring fence them against use or being diverted for other uses. For example, SHIV, and you have seen it from your own figures here, has limited 5%, only 5% administrative cost. That's a huge achievement. That we have only allowed 5% of the funds to be used for administrative purposes. That for me is a very huge achievement compared to the NHS and the way it was. Yeah? So when you ring-fence these funds, you save them from having to go to the vagaries of being used for any other purposes, to having to go through appropriation. Does it mean that is a blank check? No, it's not a blank check. They are still subject to audit, like any other.
But yeah. you still haven't answered the question. Where's the money going?
Which one?
To consolidate this.
To the specific funds.
Wait.
To the specific funds.
Let me say,
can Senator Onyonka look at me and look at what Nyakango
yes, let me tell.
said?
Yes, I will.
Tell me which of those fund is illegal.
Let me explain to him. Let me ask you.
Go on.
In the Nancy Githuku report she gave about the withdrawals in 7 months of 1.3 trillion shillings, she said it was done manually. And yet, under the PFM Act, which we agreed, the electronic transfer of money would keep the records where the money is going and who's being paid. If you borrow 1.3 trillion shillings for us, Honorable Moses, and our debt is 800 billion, where did the 600 billion go? Who is supposed to authorize the expenditure of this money? It is Parliament. Was there budgetary allocations for this money? No. This is why the auditors are talking about these issues. And yet what people in government are doing is dismissing it as if this is some little game that we are playing over 1.3 trillion shillings and nobody should ask that. So I want to come to the fuel levy. Why is she talking about the fuel levy? Why is it not going to the consolidated fund? I'm shocked that she has not said that all our money that is collected by Kenya Revenue Authority is actually not going to the consolidated fund. The law states that every single amount of revenue that comes in, whether it is domestically generated or it's borrowed, it first comes to the consolidated fund, then after that, the money is transmitted. Why is that not happening now? Because the money doesn't even show up in Kenya.
You know, that is disputed. That is purely disputed, because then it renders nugatory, it renders useless why we have got specific funds created for specific purposes from time immemorial, not from 2022. When did the fuel levy fund come into place? Yesterday? Last year? This administration? Uhuru's administration? All the way back to Kibaki's administration. Me and Onyonka were members of budget.
But we never had an auditor general. The auditor never said.
He let you talk.
Thank you. My apologies. My apologies. My apologies.
You know, he's a bit older than me, so monorizing and bullying is part of the game, and I defer to Senator Onyonka.
I submit.
So it is disputed that every fund that is not going through consolidated fund is an illegal fund. It is disputed that funds created under the PFM Act or even the substantive law that created them is illegal. It is.
And this is the biggest problem when you elect people who love themselves more than the people that they've elected. Listen to what Moses.
Not a fact that these funds came with this government or the previous one. Then it means that we have got.
Why is it so hard for him to just agree that there is corruption within the government and the leaders are corrupt?
It all the time. And right now, if these funds are illegal, I don't agree with. But if Senator Onyonka
dealing with a situation that is very, very dangerous, that the Ruto government is fully behind it, and Ruto personally is responsible because yesterday at the funeral, he claimed that he's not a fool to commit the government to buy software at a cost of 104 billion, or for more than 100 billion. But the facts speak a different story. They have done that, so they know very well what they have done, but because they have been exposed, they are trying to.
It's so painful in such a developing country, third world country, with a very big percentage of people who are poor. And poor people elect the leaders who they expect to help them, but the leaders front more of their needs than the needs of the people who voted them. I'll simply call this the making of the Kenyan oligarchs. Yeah, that is what it is. It's just the making of the Kenyan oligarchs. So every system is to make other people much richer than others. And in every administration, they are competing to be richer than the previous administration, or the leaders in this administration competes to be richer than the leaders in the other administration. And that is why every project they come up with will be a project that will enrich the people who are in that administration. So, and it's always a plan to see how they can secure the next elections to favor them. And they know with money everything is possible. So how can we milk from these people? How can we get milk from these people? Or how can we get money from these people in a way that these people will not understand? And that is why we have such a project. So let's get to hear what other leaders got to say about the SHARE project.
Play with our minds.
The document.
When somebody just, if you look at the TORs, he's basically in charge of keeping some flash disks. He's being paid 2 million shillings per month. It's more than what we pay the president of